All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Thursday, April 8th. Guys, the weekend is right around the corner. Happy Thursday to you. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. Now, guys, I'm feeling fantastic again today. I'm feeling great this morning because we're coming fresh off a 4-in-1 day in my 5 premium sports picks on my Patreon website yesterday. That's going to put us at 9-1 in our last 10 premium sports picks over the past couple of days on that Patreon website. We also hit 2 out of our last 3 board member tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. We currently have over 1,225 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, the link for that Patreon page is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. On an absolute heater right now. But with that, guys, we got some business to take care of. Got some more work to do. Job's not done. Lakers, Heat, 7:30 East. The Miami Heat's -8, totals 204. And for a team laying 8 points in this spot here, Miami's actually lost 7 out of their last 11 ball games. Now, Hero and Vincent, are questionable for tonight's action. We're also looking at a Miami team who just doesn't do a great job covering the point spread at home. They've successfully covered the number in just 10 of 27 home games. And the biggest issue for the Heat this year, in my opinion, has been their offensive production. Miami's in the bottom 5 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive rebounding at home. The Heat's averaging just 106 points per contest. Meanwhile, the Lakers on the other side of things, they've certainly found a way to win without their 2 stars. LA's currently 4-2 straight up in their last 6, and they actually should have both Drummond and Kuzma available for tonight, both upgraded to probable on that injury report. Now, the key to the Lakers' success recently without LeBron and AD has been their defense. The Lakers are allowing just 99 points a game in their last 7 outings, which essentially means if they can get into triple digits scoring-wise, combined with Miami's lack of offense, they should be able to get the job done or at least keep this one close. Now, total-wise, LA's 6-1 to the under in their last 7, 18-6 to the under when they travel. Meanwhile, Miami is 70% to the under in their last 10 meetings with the Lakers. I'm going to lean toward the LA Lakers +8 in the under 204. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Bulls versus the Raptors, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, Chicago's -4 totals 221. The Bulls are on a 2-game winning streak, 4-0 against the number in their last 4 straight as well. The Bulls are covering, they're currently one of the best road covering teams in the league right now. They're 17-6 against the spread when they travel, good for 74% in that particular category. Now, the key to Chicago's road success, well, it's been their ability to score a lot of points, simply put. They're in the top 5 in road scoring, top 3 in road offensive field goal percentage. Zach LaVine's averaging over 27 points a night, along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Nick Vucevic is scoring nearly 23 points a game himself, 10 boards and 3 assists for the big center. The Bulls are scoring 116 points a night away from their home court, and they're in the top 5 in road offensive rebounding. Now, they're taking on a Toronto squad who lost 7 out of their last 10 ball games, and they covered the point spread in only 20% of those contests. The Raptors are currently 11 games below 500 right now, and they also find themselves covering in only 41% of their home games. Now, the Toronto Raptors have had, significant difficulties rebounding this year. They actually ranked dead last in the NBA in offensive rebounding. They're also in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding as well. Harris, Van Fleet, Watson, Hood, and McCall, they're all ruled out tonight. Kyle Lowry is also still out with a foot. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Toronto's last 4 stayed under the line. Really not sure who's going to do the majority of the scoring for him here this evening. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bulls saw their last 3 straight stay under the line themselves, 7-2 to the under in their last 9. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago Bulls -4 and the under 221. Next contest I have for you. It is going to be Cavaliers versus the Thunder, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are -3.5, totals 215 flat. And if you like OKC in an upset on their home court here this evening, they're plus $1.30 for some money line cash. Now, OKC's on a 4-game losing streak, and they also dropped 7 out of their last 8. Now, OKC literally has no star power in the lineup here tonight. Gilgeous-Alexander, Baisley, Dort, Roby, and Hall, they're all listed as out. Pokusevski, Miller, and Muscala, they're all questionable. Now, the Thunder, they've had most of their difficulty this season on their home court. Out of their 26 home games this year, OKC's gotten the W in just 9 of those contests. They also successfully covered the point spread in only 36% of those home games as well. OKC's averaging only 105 points per contest. And they also give up a ton of points defensively at home. They're currently in the bottom 3 defensively in home points allowed. Now, they are taking on a Cleveland Cavaliers squad who, believe it or not, they crushed San Antonio by 24 in their last outing themselves. And despite a pretty rough year for Cleveland, injury-wise and record-wise, we're still looking at a Cleveland squad who plays fairly well defensively when traveling. They've been pretty good on the defensive end of the court away from home. The Cavs are currently in the top 10 in points allowed on the road. Now, Colin Sexton scoring over 23.5 points per contest, 2 rebounds, 4 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Darius Garland scoring 16 points a game himself, 2 rebounds, 5 assists for Garland. Now, total-wise, well, surprisingly, Cleveland's last 2 straight did get over the number. They also saw contests with San Antonio, Miami, Sacramento, and Toronto get over the posted total recently as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, 3 out of OKC's last 4 somehow got over the total as well. The Thunder has also gone 16-10 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Cleveland Cavaliers -3.5 and the over 215. Next contest, it is going to be Bucks versus the Mavericks, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Now, the Dallas Mavs are -1, numbers 228. I'm going to look for that number to continue to climb as we have some injury issues here with Milwaukee. We'll get to that in just a second. Now, despite an embarrassing loss to Houston last night, the Mavericks have still won 5 out of their last 6 ball games. Dallas has also been very good covering the number recently as well. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 outings. Now, the Mavericks do a lot of things well on defense. They're in the top 10 defensively in points allowed, top 10 in defending the 3-ball. Dallas actually holds their opponents to just 109 points per contest. And despite the potential absence of Kleba, Burke, Cauley-Stein, and Redick, the Mavs are led by Luka Doncic, who's scoring 28.5 points a game, along with 8 rebounds and 8 assists. Kristaps Porzingis is also dropping 20 a game himself, along with 9 boards. They're taking on a Milwaukee squad who, unfortunately, they're going to most likely have to go to work here this evening without their big star, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's currently doubtful with a knee injury. That's why I was saying earlier, probably going to see that number continue to climb with regard to the point spread. Now, P.J. Tucker's also been ruled out for tonight as well. No real surprise there. But even when they're at full strength, the Bucks have really done a poor job covering the point spread lately. They're just 3-7 against the number in their last 10 outings. And they're also just 36% against the number in their 25 road games. Now, Milwaukee's actually been kind of floundering defensively this season as well. They give up nearly 116 points per contest on the road, and they're actually letting their opponents hit 40% of their three-pointers when they travel as well. So even at full strength, these guys have really struggled away from their home court. Now, total-wise, Dallas saw their last 5 straight stay under the total, 80% to the under in their last 10. The Mavs are officially 30-20 to the under through 50 ball games as well. I'm going to lean toward the Dallas Mavericks -1 in the under 228. Next ball game, getting into the 10 o'clock slate, the late games. I'm talking about Pistons versus the Kings, 10 p.m. East. The Sacramento Kings are minus 7.5. Totals 225, juice to the over. And despite Detroit's best player sitting this one out here tonight, Sacramento's playing some really bad basketball right now. They're currently on a 4-game losing streak, and they failed to cover the point spread recently against the likes of Minnesota, San Antonio, and Cleveland. Now, the Kings currently have a losing record at the Golden One Center, and in addition to that, they've also really struggled to cover the number at the Golden One Center as well. They're just 10-16 against the spread in their 26 home games. Now, in my opinion, Sacramento's problem is, well, it's really not rocket science. They just give up way too many points. That's you probably thought there was a big hypothesis there. No, they just give up too many points. They're dead last in the association in defensive field goal percentage, and they allow 120 points a game at home. They're also letting their opponents make nearly 41% of their three-pointers on their home court as well. So if you're looking toward laying the points with Sacramento, keep those factors in mind. They're also taking on a Detroit squad. Well, I said earlier, they are going to have to go to work here tonight without their leading scorer, Jeremy Grant. He's battling some knee soreness. But having said that, though, I feel like the number has properly adjusted for that factor. And we're still looking at a Detroit squad who does a solid job covering the number on the road. The Pistons are covering nearly 60% of their contests away from their home court. Now, they are going to have to look to Hammy Diallo here this evening. He's scoring over a dozen a game with the Pistons, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Josh Jackson's also scoring over a dozen a game himself, 4 rebounds, couple assists for Jackson. Going to have to look to those guys to get the job done here tonight. Now, the Pistons have also played very good defense in the second half of ball games this year. They're in the top 10 defensively in third quarter points allowed, top 10 defensively in fourth quarter points allowed as well. So keep those factors in mind. It looks like a lot of folks are going to be leaning towards Sacramento. I don't know if that's the play here or not, but anyway, total-wise, Detroit's last 3 straight somehow got over the line, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, the Kings are 17-9 to the over at the Golden One Center themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Detroit Pistons plus 7.5 in the over 225. Next ball game, it is going to be Suns versus the Clippers, 10 p.m. Eastern start time. The LA Clippers are minus 6, totals 222.5. Now, Serge Ibaka is still sidelined with a back injury for Los Angeles. The Clippers also lost 2 out of their last 4 ball games, and that includes a loss to a terrible Orlando team where they scored only 94 total points. Now, they're taking on an energized Suns team who, despite coming into this game in the second of a back-to-back, they're red hot right now, hotter than a pistol. 7 straight wins. They actually took care of Utah last night in overtime as well. The Suns are playing really good basketball away from home this season. 17-6 straight up when they travel. 15-8 against the spread in those 23 road games. The Suns pretty much do everything well, but I'd say their key strength is their defense. They're in the top 5 defensively in fewest points allowed, top 3 in defending the 3-ball as well. They're currently led by Devin Booker, who's scoring 26 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 4.5 assists. Chris Paul is also scoring over 16 points a night himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the multi-time All-Star. And in addition to some stifling defense, the Suns do score 115 points per contest, which puts them in the top 10 in scoring on average per game in that category. Now, total-wise, Phoenix saw their last 5 straight get over the line, 6-2 to the over in their last 8. Meanwhile, the Clippers saw 5 out of their last 9 get over the total themselves, 16-11 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns plus 6 in the over 222.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup of the show. It is going to be Blazers versus the Jazz, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Utah Jazz are minus 6, totals 231. Now, guys, Utah's been virtually unbeatable at home this year. I know they're on the second of a back-to-back here, but they are, you simply can't beat them on their home court. They're 22-2 straight up at the Vivint Smart Home Arena. Simply put, you can't score on them at home. They lead the NBA defensively in fewest points allowed on their home court. They also lead the association in defensive field goal percentage at home as well. Utah's holding their opponents to just 31% shooting from beyond the arc on their home court as well. Donovan Mitchell scoring 25 points per contest, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for D. Mitch. Meanwhile, Jordan Clarkson's getting 17 points a game off the bench, 3 rebounds, couple assists for the role-playing guard. Utah allows just 102 points per contest at home. They're also in the top 3 in home scoring, and they currently lead the NBA in offensive rebounding. They're taking on a Portland squad who lost 2 out of their last 3, and they may have to go to work without Joseph Nurkic and Norm Powell. Both are listed as questionable for tonight's action. Now, guys, the Blazers just don't play good enough defense. They're in the bottom 3 in defensive field goal percentage, and they allow 116 points a game when they travel. The Blazers are also in the bottom 10 in the league in defending the 3-ball on the road as well. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Portland's last 7 did get over the number. 16-9 to the over when they travel. Meanwhile, the Jazz saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Utah Jazz -6 in the over 231. With that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like the LA Lakers +8 under 204. Chicago Bulls -4 under 221. Cleveland Cavaliers -3.5 over 215. Dallas Mavericks -1 under 228. Detroit Pistons +7.5 over 225. Phoenix Suns +6 over 222.5. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video here today, one final reminder that we are 9-1 in our last 10 premium sports picks on my Patreon website. We also hit 2 out of our last 3 board member tier package picks on that Patreon page. I'm going to lean toward the Utah Jazz -6 in the over 231. With that, guys, we're going to dive into some YouTube shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to DJ Lee, Frank Rocha, Flip Bout That Life. Shout out to DJ Wavy, King Yaya, Jarrell Watson, Jared Carrick, Millie Boy, Sir Whittit, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend out there, Debbie Koonsman. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do sign up today, if you do end up getting a membership here today, you're going to get access to that membership through the end of April. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy, I almost said Friday. Happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.